Hey everyone, welcome to Just Us Bros podcast. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. If not, please enjoy this video. Today we're talking about all things nerdom, what we've been through the last, 8 or so years. And as always, I'm Hokey Joker.
I'm Green Lantern.
Today we're talking about cosplays and Comic Cons.
Yeah, our other buddy couldn't be here tonight. He was having some technical difficulties, so we're gonna just do some chill talking about cosplays and Comic Cons that we've been to. And
thoughts and prayers to his internet service.
Yes,
because it might get beat up with the bat.
Because he's Bat Drew.
Yeah, Bat Drew. So anyway, 2014. I just moved out. First big boy job, and one day I just saw, hey guys, there's a Comic-Con going on this weekend. Do you want to come down? This is October of 2014, and
how do you remember that?
I can't talk about that.
Okay.
I think I remember the exact date too. Anyway, so Green Lantern, Bat Drew, and one of our friends, Hung. That's really his name. It's Hung. They came down and we went to this comic book convention in Roanoke, Virginia. It was just the Roanoke Comic Con at the Roanoke Civic Center, Berglund Center. I forget what it was called back then. But we walked in and wow, this is cool. It was a $5 entry fee. Make up your mind about that. But since then, it's been pedal to the metal.
Yeah. So traditionally, and for the viewers watching that's been to a Comic-Con, you kind of know what to expect. You know what you do. You know what you're going to see. For us, we had no idea walking in. Being called a Comic Con, I thought it was all about comic books. So we had all, I guess, recently, me particularly, had been into comic books and just really got heavily into it like the past 3 or 4 years before that. But the comic book part of Comic Con is maybe a 10% of what you do and see there, and then there's so much more. So don't let the name fool you, because there's stuff there for everybody.
Yeah, and so that just sort of opened our eyes to it. Yeah, like we stayed there for a couple of hours and like just checked it out, bought some of the trinkets and all the stuff from the vendors.
Yeah, well, pulling up, we see all these people walking in costume, and first thought is it Halloween? And it was not Halloween.
It was just a fun time, and I remember a couple months later, not even a month. It was a couple of weeks, maybe days. Green Lantern messaged me on Facebook. It was like, hey, do you want to go to Charlotte? Like, yeah, what's going on in Charlotte? Charlotte Comic Con in 2014. Like, oh, we only got a couple of weeks. Like, let's go in costume. And man, I remember the prep for that. Like, this is going to be our first costume. And so you run to Walmart, you buy the cheap stuff, and then you just like make what you think the character is doing. And your first cosplay might not always be your best, but it's fun doing it. I bought like a fleece black jacket, some red puffy paint, did all this design, and at the end of the day, Red Lantern. Guy Gardner.
Was that the one where I went as a Green Lantern Bane?
Yeah, that was the one you went as a Green Lantern Bane. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize that was our first one. That explains a lot with that costume.
yeah, because it was actually near Tavola Road.
But it was in like the ballroom of the hotel, like the conference ballroom, meeting room. It was small, bigger than Roanoke, but still small.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so then we had a fun time with that. It was another, like cheap, quick and easy, $5 go in, you snap your photo with this person, you get ideas for the next one. The vendors were bigger than in Roanoke. It was more spread out.
I'm pretty sure the next one we went in costume was Dragon Con.
Yeah, that was a huge leap. I remember about that time our friend Michael was coming in from basic training at in the Air Force, and like we went to, not disparaging the money thing, but 2 $5 Comic Cons to a $90 3-day weekend pass in the capital of Georgia. Feels like it's not the capital, but the biggest city in Georgia,
and with hotel room of what, $250, $300 a night for the stay. So we put a lot more money into it probably than we should have, but and that one, so stepping back a little bit, Charlotte, when we went, how many people would you say was at that one? Maybe
A
a few
thousand.
hundred,
Yeah.
1,000. Um, and Dragon Con, we get there, and of course, this one's full of celebrities and everything. Had we decided to go before we saw the celebrity list, or did we see the celebrity list and decide to go because of
I
that?
think it was the celebrity list because we were really big into Arrow, and Stephen Amell was going to be there.
Yeah, that's what it was. And I had just gotten a new cell phone, and the guy at the cell phone store was talking about Dragon Con in Atlanta, and that's how I ended up looking it up. Because I was like, oh yeah, I go to Comic Cons, and he's like, have you ever been to this one? And so that's how I ended up looking it up. And then I think we saw the celebrity list, and that was right when we were into Arrow. I think season 3 of Arrow was going on at that time, and
it was about to be season 4. It was about to be
season 3 had just wrapped up.
Yeah, and I found out about Dragon Con in 2013 because I was in Atlanta that weekend for a football game, and like I'm out, we're eating at the Hard Rock Cafe, and I see the Joker and Harley Quinn. I'm like, "Are you guys like street performers?" Like, no, we're here with Dragon Con, and I was like, "Okay, cool." So then that's how I found out about it. But I remember our costumes going into it. We saw the list, and we're like, "We're really into Arrow right now." So I decided to be Deathstroke somewhat. I was like half Deathstroke, half businessman Slade Wilson. It was football pads, spray painted orange on top of a blue suit that was in 90 degrees in hot Atlanta.
And we got pictures right here.
Yeah. And GL, what were you? I think you were GA.
I did a Green Arrow because I'm like, I'm gonna meet Stephen Amell dressed as Stephen Amell. So I got a cheap green sleeveless hoodie off of Amazon for like $20. And I think we spent the night before like padding it and sewing it and spray painting it and trying to make it look legit. And I did have a real bow. That was kind of cool. That
but
probably shouldn't have been allowed in there.
But no arrows. Arrows is what makes it dangerous.
I didn't have any arrows, no. But yeah, the costume was cool, and so we get there, and like where Charlotte we were at talking about the one little ballroom. We get to Dragon Con, and it's like, what do you want to do? There's this hotel, this hotel, this hotel, this hotel. The event took place over like 4 or 5 different hotels, and we didn't even get to see everything.
Yeah, and Charlotte's was like, and this is not to knock Charlotte. It's like from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Dragon Con's like 3 days, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Take a break, parties all night that you get into for free.
Yeah. The after parties were, to me, the after parties were almost more fun than the con itself, just because you've got people in costume like you just partying it up, drinking, dancing, just partying.
And the parties were great. And it is still had the open bar afterwards, but I'm going to tell a story, and I'm sorry, Michael. So we're staying out at one of these parties, and we stayed in a hotel about a mile and a half away from where everything was going on.
Yeah, and there was a train that went like the MARTA system, not the train, the MARTA, whatever, but it picked up like pretty close to our hotel and dropped off right in front of the convention center.
So we're at this party, and I'm like looking at my watch. Hey guys, MARTA's like closed in 15 minutes. We got to go. But like all night, Michael and Seth were like doing this thing around the dance floor or whatever. Like they would be on opposite ends, and Seth was just running from Michael while Michael was trying to find him.
I knew Michael was looking for me, and I could see him on the other side of the dance floor, and I would just go the opposite way he was going because I knew he was looking for me.
So yeah, so anyway, we get to it, like, okay, we got to go, guys. And back then you had to buy drink tickets. So like I got Seth, I got Michael, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna look for let's go. I don't want to walk through downtown Atlanta at 2 a.m. And all of a sudden we turn around, and Michael in his state of mind just has a whole bunch of tickets and goes, I got more tickets.
And we're all just like, oh, we're ready to go.
Yeah, so
I'm pretty sure we helped him spend his tickets and just shotgunned a bunch of drinks just to get rid of them. But we missed the train back, and we had to walk a mile and a half through some dark, scary-ish places in Atlanta.
And with 3 inebriated people, not being quiet doesn't help.
Yeah, but yeah, other than the parties, there was a lot of stuff to do throughout the days. Like I said, for this event, we went from the previous event maybe having 1,000 people to this event 90,000 plus for the event. It was tons to do. We were going hard at it from this as soon as we could in the morning until as soon as we couldn't the following morning, and then we get up and do it all over again. But I mean, at the event, they had all kinds of different stuff. Like we talk about different fandoms. They had the celebrities there. Like that's a whole thing in itself. You can go meet the celebrities. You can go get autographs, selfies. They have what's called panels where the celebrities talk and you can hear them talk and tell stories, and they take questions from the audience.
Yeah. I remember when we were there though, like we were like, hey, Katie Cassidy's here, John Barrowman, Stephen Amell, like they're going to be here, and we're like, let's go get our photo with them. We have never met John Barrowman at this point in our lives. So when we get out and we're standing in line to get our photo with him, a professional photo, he just comes around the corner, jumps up, and starts going, "Hey, sexy bitches," or something like that.
And by the way, John Barrowman plays Malcolm Merlin on the main villain in season 1 of Arrow, and then he was a character throughout, but very serious, very stern, very badass guy. And take it away.
Yeah. So that was just our first wow. So it was sort of pulled back the veil of your favorite characters and the actors that play them. But I just remember we went to a lot of panels, and so as soon as you get out of one panel, you get in line for another panel, and it would be outside the hotel, wrapped around the side of the building, and you're like, I hope we can get in, and you get in, and you're still like 10 rows back from the front.
Yeah,
man, I think it was the Sheridan where it was in.
Yeah, but the Sheridan was where most of the panels were done, and like you said, yeah, you'd get in line like Michael, not to pick on him, but he'd want to get in line like 2 hours before the panel would start so we could get good seats. So it was a lot of, for that particular event, a lot of waiting in line for that. But we had never been around anything like that before. I mean, these are people on our favorite TV shows that we're getting to not only see in person, we're getting to get a picture with, we're getting to talk to them. You get it, you almost get a personal experience with them.
And even if you didn't want to go to a panel, let's say, well, I don't really see that, you could just sit in the foyer and say, look at that cosplay. Look at that cosplay. I remember looking at one and said, oh my God, is that Prince from Chappelle's show? And
yeah,
basketball and all. And we got video of him,
And he started just dancing up on me.
Yeah, and then there was Slender Man, our friend Hung, who went to the Roanoke when he was afraid of Slender Man. So snap, send to Hung.
I remember the Deadpools. It was a group of like 3 or 4 Deadpools, and they were just like dancing, and I jumped in the middle and they just danced with me. I mean, it was just wild. It was cool though.
If you guys want to hear more about our time at Dragon Con, Bad Drew, he's having internet issues right now, but he can gladly fill you in on some of that. But come on, that gave us a little taste of the big city stuff, because when you think Comic-Cons and conventions, what are the 2 major ones?
San Diego and New York.
Hey, guess where we went next? Not that one.
Yeah.
We went to a Comic-Con in New York, though.
But it was not New York Comic-Con.
It was Heroes and Villains Fan Fest in January of 2016, also known as the Blizzard Weekend of 2016.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story in itself. Maybe if you guys are interested, we'll talk about that sometime. We'll continue. We'll do a part 2, part 3, part 4, and we'll keep you updated. We'd be glad to answer questions, talk more, heck, even do a live stream sometime.
Yeah, and we can go on and on about the Comic-Cons that we've been to, but all that. But what's a Comic-Con without a good cosplay? I mean, so you start off with those small, cheap ones, and then you look out and say, I want to do that next time. Then you do it and you feel better about the costume. I want to do that next time. And then you build it up. So we've been many characters over the years. Just Green Lantern, you want to take away, just list off a couple that you've been?
Green Lantern. Green Lantern. I was going to say Green Lantern, Red Lantern. No, but I mean, I've done everything. I've done Green Lantern, Green Arrow. I've been a Batman. I've been a Red Lantern Batman. What else? Peacemaker. That was probably one of my most recent ones.
But just based off you've done like at first when we started, we were individuals. We didn't have to do a group cosplay
Yeah, and the group cosplays are fun.
Yeah, and I just remember one time we were, you know, Rick and Morty was like really popular, and that's still popular now. But based off our love for Justice League and Rick and Morty, let's all be Ricks who are superheroes. So we had, I was the Flash Rick, or as I called it, the Flask.
Yeah.
So Flash helmet, wig, lab coat, and I had a little Pickle Rick with me with a Jay Garrick helmet, and that was Pickle Jay Garrick. Green Lantern. What Green Lantern were you, Rick?
I was Green Lantern of C-137 Sector 2814. The Green Richtern.
And then Bat Drew was Bat Rick.
He was
So
Bat Rick, yeah.
So we all had these great costumes, and we all had portal guns, and that's one good thing about with characters like Rick. He can just break the fourth wall and do all that stuff, so it was believable in that sense. But a more recent cosplay that I really like doing as far as group goes is Richmond 2022.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that was fun because that was a group cosplay. I of course was the great John Cena Peacemaker.
Christopher Smith.
Sure. Bat Drew went as Vigilante, which if you haven't seen the show, check it out. Don't watch it with your kids because it's definitely not for kids. And then of course the breakout star of the show, who went by Diebeard, you ended up being him and was perfect at it. And people's take on it were like, oh, Peacemaker, oh, Vigilante, are you Diebeard? That's awesome. And that was you kind of stole the show with that.
Yeah, because that's exactly what I was. Oh, can I get a picture of you? Oh, Vigilante girl. Oh, Diebeard. And there was actually, while we were walking around, like we had everything. Just to say from a costume standpoint, Green Lantern, I think you got the bodice, the body piece of at least the top from Spirit Halloween.
Yeah.
I have
so again, I tried to make my own costume. It looked horrible, fell apart. As soon as I put it on, all the pieces that I had glued on just like popped off. So I bought a costume.
So he bought a costume, and then I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to that. One of the only things I'm a perfectionist with. I went off and 3D printed because that's what I do as a side business. An emblem that he wore under it to give it a level, and then I made a Peacemaker helmet, and then it just started coming out, and Vigilante didn't want anything, Badger didn't want anything, but for mine, listen, I'll tell you about my cosplays in a little bit and all that, but over the years, you start off small, then you wanted to get better. You want to do these great costumes, and I was wearing full armor, but at some point I was like, I just want to be comfortable. So I went as Diebeard, and this is 100% real, but the dye was not. I put white dye in it, so I reversed it, and it was just comfortable. I had a little chainsaw. I had a gorilla with me. It's so much fun to see and be a part of a group cosplay. Well, how did you feel as Peacemaker? Because Green Lantern was the only Peacemaker there that we saw. This was a couple weeks after the show had wrapped up, if that, or maybe it was still going on.
Yeah, all I can say is I'm glad I practiced the opening dance number. Again, if you haven't watched the show, at least check out the opening dance scene. That is kid friendly mostly. Check that out. I actually learned the majority of that, and you would be surprised how many people came up to me and asked me, do the dance. And I could do it.
When it comes to these cosplays over the time, you just got to deal with comfort, what you want to be, who's your favorite character. I mean, we talked about the cheap Walmart jacket with puffy paint, and the next was football pads. Well, then if you start building your costume, you start to get EVA foam, 3D printing. And I mean, at one point, this was actually the armor I wore for my Deathstroke in, I think it was 2018 in Charlotte. And it's 3D printed, painted all by me and stuff. But you have to be what you're comfortable. At the time, I was comfortable in that. Now I found it cumbersome, and it's not, other people can do it. They're older than me, they're younger than me, they can do it. But maybe one day I could return to it. It's just sucks to lug in a car when it's that much, especially when Green Lantern's driving.
Well, and I'm going to say too, as we've gotten older, we've kind of gotten experienced at the cons, and I'd say the last 3 or 4 we went to, we'll go half the day in costume, go change into normal people clothes, and finish the con in regular clothes just because it's breathable and more comfortable.
And we've also had the different philosophy of like when we went, it was like, let's see celebrities, let's see this, let's get our picture, let's buy some stuff, let's do all this. But then it slowly came into like, let's go see the cosplays, let's get our photos with people. I think one of the more memorable costumes in recent memory is because we I'm not gonna say we take it serious, but we have fun with it. It doesn't have to be serious, it can just be fun. In 2021, me and Green Lantern went to Awesome Con up in Washington D.C. and at this point, I was like, let me just be comfortable, so to say. I was a Red Hood. I had the side of my face, a helmet blown off so I could see, and yeah, I had a jacket on. It was like jeans, a jacket, and a helmet. It looked pretty good. GL, what were you?
I'm pretty sure I was Omni-Man from Invincible.
Omni-Man, and you went viral because you were
the
only Omni-Man there.
I was the only Omni-Man there. I was, again, I wouldn't say the first Omni-Man cosplay, but one of the first ones that I had seen. And there was a guy dressed up as Invincible, and there's a meme on Invincible, and we actually recreated that meme. Yeah. So that was cool. And then there was a article by like comicbook.com or somebody a week later that posted that, and that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, so
still friends with the dude on Instagram now that was the Invincible.
You know, if you want to cosplay is your favorite. You know, it doesn't have to be by the book, comic book. Put your own spin on it. Lord knows we have. So it's not so much about the costumes. It's not so much about traveling to a new city. It's for me, it's about spending time with just us bros. Yeah, it is seeing a new city, but it's everything involved. It's seeing the panels, getting to ask a question, maybe getting groped by a celebrity in the middle of a snowstorm.
I don't know what you're talking about.
If you guys want to hear more about the costumes and cosplays that we've done or any of the conventions that we've been to, just comment, like, and subscribe, and maybe we'll get around back to it because we love talking to our fans. We love talking to anybody about cosplay. We love talking to anybody about just anything nerdy. And if you want to know about, maybe we could give you a tutorial on how we do our own cosplays. If anything, just reach out. We'd love to hear from you.
And I'll even add, tell us about some cons you've been to and some cosplays you've done.
What is your fantasy cosplay? What would be your number one that you want to do?
And we can't talk about that.
Within reason. But hey, if you guys want to talk about anything, movies, comics, TV, the weather, I'm not a meteorologist, but I'll give it a try. Just please like and comment and subscribe, and we will gladly do a podcast on that. For now, I'm Hokey Joker.
I'm Peacemaker.
Cheers.